What's going on, guys, in the works? And today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new grenade launcher in Battlefield 3, and that is the M320 LVG. And I had not toyed around with this at all until last night, and I was like, alright, I'm going to finally try this, because I had been killed by it a couple times on Metro, and I was trying to figure out, what makes this thing different than a normal 320. I mean, what is the biggest difference behind this? Because it doesn't seem like it's that different. It has the same reload times, it feels like it shoots much shorter than the 320, and I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out the mechanics behind this thing. Well, I learned something. It's not really your typical grenade launcher. Basically, it's a frag grenade launcher, if that makes any sense. It lobs a frag grenade in a direction, and you can be a little bit more precise with it. Now, it is very, very tricky to get the hang of, because if you're used to the 320, this is going to have like probably a fourth of the range of that, because it is a timed explosion. So if you shoot it really, really, really far, it'll blow up in midair. So I guess if you somehow get really good with it, you could maybe get some air burst on some helicopters in the air. That would be pretty awesome. I can imagine that's something that would get quite popular around the internet if someone was able to pull something like that off. But it's good for precision. You see there, that guy went prone behind that wall. I bounced it off the tank and it rolled up to him and blew him up. So this thing does have some usage. I've heard a lot of people, dissing on it, saying how it sucks. And apparently in Close Quarters DLC, they have nerfed explosives around the board. So this one's probably a little bit more tricky to use on those maps. So keep that in mind when you're watching this, that Close Quarters DLC or the maps themselves will be a little bit more tricky to use something like this. But some tips on it is try to aim for groups of people. Try to aim where you think people will be coming, not where they're technically at. Because like I said, this isn't a shoot it at the person, it blows up their feet, they die, you move on. It's more like a shoot it at a direction, it bounces around, it rolls around, someone happens to get unlucky and runs over it, and you get a kill, which you're seeing a lot of right here. However, there are some really practical uses to this, especially if you're on defense on an MCOM, if you're defending an MCOM that you've planted, perhaps you're defending a conquest domination flag. This thing does have some pretty practical uses, and you're going to see here it's ultimately going to win this game for us because it is able to keep these guys off this MCOM. So there are some really good traits behind it, but for the most part I would say it's pretty impractical. I mean, in the right hands it can be very effective. It's really good for taking out gobs and gobs of people. What I've been doing, since it is a little bit harder to get kills with it, I've been lobbing my frag grenade in my hand at where I'm going to be shooting the thing first, and then I'll shoot my other nade at it. So ultimately what you get is your 2 frag grenades if you have the frag squad perk on, and then you also get 6 more with this. So you do have some potential to get some crazy nade spam, and it's much easier to kind of bounce a grenade around than the 320. So like I said, this can do a lot of things that the 320 can't do, but for the most part I would say the 320 is a little bit more practical just because of the way it explodes at the person's feet or wherever it hits, as opposed to bouncing around and then you have to get lucky to get a kill. But maps like Metro, this is going to be super popular because you can just lob it up the escalators. Maps like Grand Bazaar, super popular because you can just shoot it into that first MCOM on B. It'll bounce around the corner and blow all those people up. So it's actually got some pretty practical uses. It's going to help a lot on some of those maps that are a little bit more tricky to get. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It is worth trying out. It's a little bit difficult to get the hang of it, but once you do, it can be pretty useful. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.